You know, I know everyone who's playing Baldur's Gate right now is really an Astarion girly, but I gotta say, something about Gale just hits different for me. Okay, if anything is weird and messed up, it's because my camera keeps doing this thing where it's like, recovering data, please hold, and I don't know what that means. And the sun just went behind a cloud, so it got dark. Hey, it's Kismet. Something that I've been able to dabble only with in cosplay are waistcoats. So when I saw my favorite boy in a waistcoat that was purple, it was game over. You know what else was game over was this recording, because my camera truly was throwing a fit that day. What you see here is me finding out that I did not have enough of my proper fabric for the jacket, outer shell, and lining. So I ended up choosing different fabrics for the lining. This is the front of the jacket. It is a crushed velvet in lilac from another project forever ago that I still had lying around. I did decide that I wanted to move that dart a little bit for sizing purposes. This is the back of the jacket lining on this terrible poly satin with a big stain in it, but this is kind of what my mock-up with my lining looked like. I decided I wanted to change the shape of the front of the jacket to better match Gale's in the game. And then next, I took all of those adjustments that I made on my lining layer and I transferred them to the pattern. And then that way, I could then use the pattern to transfer them to the other half of the jacket, making sure that both sides were even. I find a lot of time when I'm adjusting patterns, it's a lot of back and forth to make sure that both sides end up exactly the same and not totally messed up. Here I am using some masking tape in order to start drawing the shape that I want for this little, I kept calling it his back bib throughout this whole project. It's just got all of those fun little swirly bits and swirly pieces in gold. So I ended up only drawing out half of it and then just mirroring it to the other side as well to make sure that they were even. I really prefer to use masking tape for this sort of stuff because it's really easy to, as you can see, transfer it to some paper, have a super quick, super easy pattern that doesn't use a whole ton of saran wrap, which I hate working with, and you don't gunk up your fabric. Oh, this brocade fabric, isn't it just beautiful? I scoured the internet looking for this and looking for my outer shell fabric as well. I'll link both in the description if you're interested. I just found that this didn't quite have the effect that I was wanting. I think I talk about that a little later in the video too. Here I am making my stamp. This is a lino cut stamp, I believe is what it's called. I did this back in high school in an art class. So it came in handy that I still had this knowledge. Similarly to when I did that back bib pattern, I mostly focused on one half of the design and then just mirrored it on the other end in order to make sure that it was perfectly even. Once I had that, I could just plop it right on top of that stamp, use a little bit of tape to keep it in place in some key areas, and then take just a pencil and trace out the design. It works really well. You don't need like a fancy pen or anything. Peel that puppy back to reveal, ta-da! Now it's time to start carving carefully. Carefully. Oh my god, carefully. Yeah, so I was being quite precious at the beginning of this, especially around the edges. It was really important to me that I got, this was my one stamp. So I used all the tools available to me to really make sure that I got a very clean cut. But then once you get to the sort of negative space, the empty area, you can kind of go ham and just really carve it up, really get rid of it. I honestly could have just cut away the corners entirely. Didn't think to. I had to rep the boy, okay? I had to. Here, Gale, let's just pin your hair back. Lovely. So today is quite an exciting day, I think. So as you saw, I made the little patch for the shoulders and back with the brocade. And I serged the edges because it was fraying a ton. But I did run into a little bit of a problem with this patch. Here is the fabric that is going to be used for the outside of the jacket. I know it looks really blue. It's just because of the lighting. If I turn on my overhead light, does that help a little bit? Make it look a little bit more like it's purple. In person, I swear to God, it's purple. It's a very blue purple, but it is purple. When you put this next to it, let me zoom you in. Do you kind of see the issue? It's just, this is so, it looks kind of muddy to me. When the light catches it just right, it is a really beautiful pattern, but otherwise, just looking at it like this, I feel like it's muddy. And if I get you real close, I feel like it's just super obvious that the purple tones here, this is just blue. Online, I thought it had like purple hints. It's way too blue. So I think what the plan is gonna have to be, kind of figured, since I'm already gonna go through all the trouble of stamping all of my outer fabric, what's a little more work? So here's my plan. I ordered iron-on vinyl. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the pattern that is on the actual jacket in the image. I'm not gonna try to do it perfectly, but I am gonna try to like generally mimic it, draw it out by hand, cut it out by hand, because I don't own a Cricut, and I'm gonna iron it on and see how that looks. But I have to wait for the gold vinyl to come in to even think about that. So today what I'm gonna do is the really exciting and really terrifying part. I'm going to take my outer fabric and I'm gonna cut all of my pieces. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna lay out those pieces, take scrap, and do some tests of the stamp. When I was doing research into stamping, there was a recommendation for this stuff. It's acrylic ink, and I just don't want it to like seep outwards. I want it to be somewhat contained. So my guess is that I'm going to have to do some mix of like the acrylic ink with like a teeny bit of acrylic like craft paint. So let's get to cutting out these pieces and then doing some test stamps. I'm terrified. This is the part where I could fuck it all up, I think. Today is the day that I am testing swatches for the stamp. I have my ink, I have some white paint, some black paint, my stamp roller, a bunch of scrap, my pins for some reason, and then I also have this acrylic to-do board. I'm going to use this to be kind of like my palette because it's all I have. I do have just enough here that if I mess up stamping on a piece, I have enough fabric for one front or one back. let's get comfortable. Oh, I also forgot to mention, I also have some fabric softener. It can be used to turn paint into like a fabric medium paint, or at least kind of like a DIY version of it. So I might mess around with that too. I definitely want to start with just the ink. I am so certain that I know how this is gonna go, and it's just gonna bleed everywhere, but it's important to test, you know? And maybe, oh, let's get a pen and I'll write like underneath each like try, each sample, breaking out that big old brain that I went to college for, supposedly. Here we go. Oh, I can't even, it's so watery. Okay, so let's try this actually. Immediately we're experimenting. Just to give it something to grip. Oh, that's actually, not only is that not helping, I think that's making it way worse. I think this roller is terrible. Okay, so that's kind of mixed up. Let's roll it onto the, and it's immediately, I know it's not gonna work. Can you see the texture of that? We're here, we're gonna give it a shot. Here we go. I can see that my stamp works. It actually didn't bleed at all. That's kind of crazy. Next. White paint in the ink, because I think this will be actually thick enough to have some like, I don't know, grip. God, it's too much white paint. I feel like I'm gonna need a lot of ink to maintain this color. God, like I really have to press to get it on the roller. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and the reveal? Way messier, not quite as nice. Like it's definitely a more opaque coverage, but it's also just kind of like it's not seeping in the way I want to. And I like the color too. I'm shocked because of how much white I put in there. Okay, next little experiment. The same thing with just a touch of fabric softener. Oh, weird. I think some of the paint might have like dried a little bit, or there's a strange chemical reaction happening here. It's getting like chunky. Oh, okay. Let's see this one. This roller sucks. I think I need to order a different roller before I do this for real. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, and the reveal? Oh, that's shit. So far, just ink and paint is winning out. I think ink and white paint is just the way to go. It's the most opaque, it's the most consistent. Even now, it's pretty much dry, and it's not as soft as it once was where the paint is, but it's folding and it's still acting like fabric if I crumple it up. Yeah, it's actually really nice. Okay, screw fabric softener. Oh God, oh no. Oh, I just realized that I'm gonna have to do this so many times. Time to clean this mess up. I have not worked on this project in a couple of months. I went on vacation. I got engaged, which is crazy, and I should absolutely take this off before I get into like chaotic painting. I got super duper sick, and then honestly just procrastinated this forever because I am terrified to finally do the stamping on all of the fabric. That is the only logical next step in this project, and I just am so scared of ruining all of my fabric. But honestly, I just have to remind myself that even if I do worry it, I can order more. Like, yes, it's gonna take some time, but it's taking time for me to do anything at all, just sitting around waiting. I'm in my snazzy painting clothes, although this shirt doesn't really do much for me on the side. This is normally my hair dyeing shirt, and I think it might finally be time to upgrade to a new one. Anyways, I am definitely just stalling at this point, so let's just do it. Oh my God, I don't even remember what I need for this. Oh, I also, one more thing to kind of stall. I recently just smashed my phone. That does mean though that I'm terrified of using my new phone until I can get a phone case for it, which I ordered, it's just not here yet. What do you guys think of that placement? Does that work for you? I also bought a new roller. Okay, so looking at this reference image, which obviously the pattern on this is like upside down and sideways, and I have no idea. I can see that the pattern is like tightly clustered, like there's not a whole bunch of space in between. So when I'm doing this, I'm gonna have to make sure that like this corner is pretty close to this corner here. So I'm gonna have to figure out reference points for doing that with this this stamp. And also, if you're freaking out that I'm doing this on carpet, first of all, valid. But second of all, I have already ruined so many pieces of this carpet. I think that's pretty good. Let's load up this guy. Oh my God, that is already so much better. We roll onto the stamp. Here we go. Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so if these two corners match up to this weird little chin spot, okay, too close. Like maybe with this corner of this leaf there. Okay, that is definitely better. I think actually what I might do is get a pen and mark where I put the corner of the stamp as a reference. So if this was like this, let's aim for like the center of this leaf here. Okay, this is going way better than I thought. I'm like really mad at myself for waiting so long because this is going shockingly well. Okay, so let's aim for, I think that might have been too low. No, that was perfect. The only issue that I'm kind of running into is the like grain, so to speak, of the cardboard. Here. This is gonna take freaking forever, isn't it? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay, I knew I was gonna have to do some revisions. Okay, but this cardboard is really pissing me off, so we are upgrading to old wood from an old crafting desk. Okay, I think that's a better spacing system. I think it is safe to assume that this is not gonna work. In order to get a stitch thick enough, I need to do 2 rounds, which as you can see makes it lose a lot of its flowiness. So I think the route that we go is paint. So maybe we'll try that out. Oh, hello. So here is my biggest piece, all stamped out. I have 2 of these. This is the back piece. And I think it's gonna be pretty quick and easy to paint all of the gold onto these, just like that. Oh my God, did that transition work? Here is what it looks like with the gold outline painted. I think it's phenomenal. This takes forever. So each one of these little guys takes me between 20 and 30 minutes, hand painting each one, but it is the only option that gives the visual effect that I want consistently. So here is everything that's left. We have a long road ahead of us, which I think means we need a montage.
Make views which make us funny. Citrus, we need to take this camera, film cool stuff for our viewers. Make views which make us funny. Make views which make us funny. Make views which make us funny.
There are 2 things that I've learned recently. One is that my AirPods can survive the washer and dryer. And 2 is that this whole time I have been making Gale's endgame jacket I was really starting to worry that this outfit was from like a mod because I could not find it anywhere. Lo and behold, it is vanilla base game and there's a reason I couldn't find it in stores. It's what he wears at the end of the game. So I'm very pleased to find out that this is a much more relevant build than I initially thought. And yes, that does mean that I have finally completed my first full playthrough of the game about 1.5 years after its initial release. And I actually got kind of a bad ending. Very light spoilers. Gale left me. But I did look up the like good ending with Gale and I think it's really, really cute and I like it a lot. And I'm just gonna gaslight myself and pretend like that is the ending that I got and convince myself that the ending I did get isn't even possible. But I have to keep my motivation up because as you saw, I finally finished all of the painting for this project. Which means, much like Voltron, it is time to assemble. I feel like I am finally on a downward slope with this project in a good way. Like it feels like everything kind of gets easier from here. Let's hope that stays true. Okay, so I'm finally starting to move on to the sleeves, and I have this twill tape that I'm going to be using for all of the brown details on Gale. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold it over to create kind of like a piping, run it through my machine, and then I will stitch it all along the outsides. Then I will take my lining and then I will stitch that into place. So it's kind of like a sandwich of outer fabric, lining with the like bottom facing the outside, and then lining fabric, so that once I then go and flip it inside out, the piping will kind of peek out just along the edge of the outside of the sleeve, and it'll kind of look like that. Okay, so new problem. I made my little roll-ups of this neoprene fabric. I started trying to figure out the process of straps of this twill tape on the red tube. However, this requires a lot of like numerous straps of this twill tape, right? And so I started cutting and laying it out and realizing like, this is quite long, and this is only one. So I was worried that I wasn't gonna have enough twill tape for it, so I very roughly pinned on my mannequin. It's not perfect, I do have some extra, like this piece down here wouldn't be here, but I also, it's just better to have some excess than to not have enough. And so as I was mapping this out, I didn't even get to do like the side slit with twill tape on it. I just went around the bottom. So after doing a very rough pinning of everything that I have, this is all that I have left over. Overall, I would guess I probably have an extra yard of this, which is not enough to go around this. So I kind of have to pivot, and I was going through my fabric scraps, and I have a ton of scrap brown linen. Problem being, it is a very different brown color from the twill tape. And my concern is that it's just gonna stick out like a sore thumb, especially because it'll be right next to more twill tape. Like it'll be clearly a different color. So going through my scrap bins again, I have more than enough of this white linen, and then I have my brown fabric dye. I could try to color match the linen to the twill tape. Yeah, I don't know. I'll check back in with you and let you know what I decide. Remember earlier when I said everything was gonna get easier from here? Silly me.
So yes, I did end up deciding to go with the white linen and to dye it brown. Here I am making sure that I am cutting pieces on the bias because this is going to be wrapping around something, although I have no idea why I made it this curved shape. That was stupid. Transition is brown now. It's close enough. The twill tape is definitely a little bit warmer, but I decided, fuck it, we ball. And we also need to finish this fucking costume. So I tried running this through my machine, and yeah, it just wasn't really responding how I wanted it to. So I did the rest of this hand stitching, which I had a lot more control with, and then I cut my little slits in order to make it fit better, and then I wrapped some elastic around that to get that sort of cording effect. And then you guessed it, more hand stitching. Pretty much everything that occurred around this sleeve was done by hand.
Okay, we have a problem. So I forgot that I wanted to shorten this by like a good inch, maybe even a little bit more. It's so droopy. It's like a drop shoulder. I'm gonna unpick this, remark the shoulder line where I actually want it to sit, and then we go again. I love sewing. It's such a calming and relaxing hobby. Hey. So I was hand stitching on the sleeves and I figured out that I did it backwards. I thought that this side with the edging was the outside of the sleeve. No, this is the outside of the sleeve. It should sit like this, which in hindsight is incredibly fucking obvious. But yeah, I kind of realized that a little late, and then after I realized it, I didn't want to admit it because that meant that I would have to recut both of these sleeves, re-stamp them, re-gold outline them, and put this edging on the outside. And I really didn't want to do all of that work, but alas, I acquiesced, and now I have the sleeves properly done. I will say now, this is all just pinned in place right now, and you see how they kind of go like up? Like, I look like a Zula or like a Sith Lord. So I'm just gonna fuss around with them, pin them in the right place so that they're going out instead of up. And then I will stitch them into place and it will be finally time to move on to something else for you guys. Ow, pins, ow, ow, ow. For you guys, this whole process has been like, what, a couple seconds, maybe a minute? For me, this has been weeks of hand sewing and unpicking and hand sewing and unpicking, and then finally realizing that I fucked it up so bad that I have to redo it. I will say redoing these sleeves to get to this point only took me a day. So like, one, I'm really proud of myself, but also I'm starting to question how much time I actually need for things. Like, I really am dragging this project out for no damn reason. So let's get to hand sewing. It finally feels like things are coming together. The shoulders do still go a little bit upwards, but it's definitely an improvement. Here is my lining layer, which means I also need to unpick the sides. I stitched them up so I could look at the fit of the coat, but the final product is gonna be open on the sides with some lacing. So I gotta unpick the sides, pin the lining to the outer jacket, and now is also probably the time to install the collar. Getting there? We're getting there. Let's fucking do it! Okay, moment of truth time. Oh, do I think it's like a teeny tiny bit out of place design-wise? A little bit. But as far as what the product is, I'm pretty happy. I'm very happy with the amount of space in between here. I feel like this piece has room to breathe on either side of it. I do need to starch the collar, I think. It's a little floppy for my liking. And yeah, even in the back, I like it. I will say this gold vinyl doesn't have as much depth to it as, say, like if I did this with embroidery would have had, but I think I would have guaranteed myself carpal tunnel if I had done this in embroidery instead of with iron-on vinyl. Overall, I am happy, and I guess that means it's time to do the rest of the trim, which I'm similarly going to iron on with fusible webbing and then hand stitch on for security and detail. So let's do that. Progress is being made. Oh. Truth be told, I am not quite yet done with all of the hand stitching on this. I will probably finish up the rest of that tonight, and then tomorrow, Jake and I will be taking quite the road trip. It is 8 hours one way, so 16 total. And so I figured while we're driving, we'll probably want to start working on the eyelets on the side for the lacing. And then back to the front, I also have all of my hardware, all of the closures. So they'll look a little something like that. Hopefully you can see that. God, and then after all of that, it's done. So possibly the next time you see me will be the reveal. Okay. Let's do this. This is the closest I had for pants and a shirt that would work for this. And yes, I did throw these cuffs together off screen. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, that was worth the effort, I think. I mean, wow. It's very comfortable. I'm just like beside myself. I'm so happy. Okay, let's talk. A couple of things inspired by Rachel Maxey, what did go well, what didn't go well. I'm gonna start with some things that didn't go well. So there's a gold detail on the bottom of the jacket, which I did not do, partly because I completely forgot and partly because I'm done for now. I probably will add it later, but like for the sake of this video, I had to like put it on, feel something, and now I definitely will probably get the detail on before Ren Fair, so I don't have that little gold detail. I do wish that I put interfacing in it to help stiffen the jacket a little bit. I was worried that it would be too stiff. I do think that this is maybe a little too flowy. For comfort wise, it's amazing. It's great. It's perfect. I think for like wearing this to Ren Fair, this is already very, very warm. Interfacing would have made it even warmer. But I think if I was gonna make like a proper jacket, interfacing would have been good. That being said, with the result, I'm fine with not having interfacing in it. Okay, some of the details differ from like the official art, but there's good reason for that. For instance, Gale's jacket has 4 buckles, but I kind of like how 3 look. I tried it on with 3 just to make sure that it was sitting well, and I was like, actually, I kind of like it. I don't know. Let me know if you think I should add the 4th buckle right here. So the buckles are different. The sides are open. In the original, the sides are stitched together, but it does have the lacing up the side for size adjustment. So I don't know what the point of having the lacing there would be if it's all stitched up, so I made the executive decision to leave it open. I think it looks very nice. And otherwise, there's just a couple of like little things here and there that I tweaked because I was either having issues with it during the crafting process, or I just thought it would look better on, again, the feminine form. And then the last thing is I did leave a little clip in there. You know, the like clips instead of pins? There is one right over here. And so maybe someday I will perform some internal surgery to get that out. But as of right now, like, the jacket's perfectly comfortable, so she's just gonna stay there for now. Okay, moving on to the things that went well, the things that I like. Like I said before, I love the shape of the jacket. I keep having to go on my tiptoes to show you. I feel like it's very flattering. I love the back, the way that it points in the back, which is another difference from the original design. For as much trouble as they gave me, the little shoulder sleeves turned out perfectly fine. As you can see, I did throw together some last minute little cuffs and then also this little piece right here in the back. The piece on the back is just fusible interfaced onto there right now. It's not super secure, so I am gonna stitch that down, but for the time being, it's there for the video. That's what's important. Overall, I am just so proud of it. I love all of the detail, all of the work, the hand stamping, and then that gold outline painting was the actual bane of my existence. It made this thing take like a year longer than it needed to. And to be fair, most of that was me like dragging my feet working on it, but it turned out so wonderful. So much more wonderful than if I had like ordered a spoonflower fabric, I think, a custom fabric. But I am also incredibly biased to say that, because if I didn't and I thought that a spoonflower fabric would be better, then this would have been for nothing and I would lose my mind. So I think that this is way better. But even all of the hand stitching around the trim, the detailed buckles, the buttons that I chose for the back, just all of the little detail work that always makes me want to like rip my eyes out. It's always worth it. It always looks so, so good. I am genuinely so proud of myself. I'm so glad it's finally done. I'm ready to wear this to a Ren fair and to mayhaps charm the pants off of a goddess. Just, I'm happy. I'm so happy. This is the thing about cosplay that I love so much, is finishing a project and putting it on, and this wave of like relief and pride and excitement. This is really what it's all about. Unfortunately, this feeling really does make this all worth it. The pain that this costume was, it was worth it. So I guess that is it for this video. The next video is going to be a get ready with me with all of the makeup and hair and all of that to get into this cosplay. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. It's because I'm panting.
Wow. Mr. has good taste.
Oh. Oh, I also just noticed I still have some heat erase ink markings on the front of this. I'll get rid of them, don't worry. They'll iron out real quickly, but if you saw those, don't worry about it. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see